Hi, welcome back to my decorating series. We're going to go inside to the 7th floor for a sunroom. I've been looking forward to doing this room. And I already had some very specific ideas. I wanted as many windows as I could possibly get, and I wanted as many plants as I could possibly get. And I knew I was going to use some big pieces in here, but I, of course, had to do, the walls and the floor and stuff like that. But the windows and that big white door, I knew I was going to use them. So good jumping off point. And I liked the jungle wall because most of the walls are covered in windows. So I knew that there was only going to be one wall that might be visible. And I actually really liked that one tile floor, but it was super shiny. So I opted against it. And I really wanted to put this sand fountain in here, but it wouldn't butt up against the walls. So after a while, I'm going to take it out, but I kind of had this fantasy of putting it in here. I was testing the functionality of the door because I thought maybe I could cram one more of these vine walls in, but it wouldn't work, so I didn't do it. And I really didn't want too much of the wall visible behind the vines. I wanted to make it look like the vines were actually the wall, which, they stick out, so it's not, the illusion isn't as good as it might be if they were a little bit closer to the wall, but that's okay. And now I'm looking for the biggest plants that I can find. I wanted to start with the really, really big stuff, and then build everything else into all the nooks and crannies around where the big stuff would lay. So I decided instead of the sand fountain to use this figment topiary thing. I know it's an outdoor piece, but they let me put it inside, so I'm gonna do it. And yeah, so now I'm kind of like figuring out where the sections of the room are gonna be. Right off the bat, I made this room a 12 by 12 because I wanted it to be just as full and lush as I could possibly make it. So I'm really glad we just recently got some Alice stuff and some Disney Fairies stuff. There were some things that were outdoor only that I really wanted to use in here, but, if they won't let me, they won't let me, and that's fine. But I wanted varying heights of the plants, so I also wanted to look at some tables that I could probably stick between the bigger things so that I could have plants on the tables and plants on the floor, so there were multiple layers of plants. And then I knew I wanted to have at least one seat in here. I thought I might use like the tangled couch, but it was going to take away from the plant space, so I decided not to do that. But yeah, you can see I've got some of these new pieces. So this garland flower thing, and then the wheelbarrow flowers. I actually thought I was going to use some of the wicker stuff, like the new wicker chairs, but I actually didn't really like how they looked, so I eventually don't go in that direction. And I thought about a hanging chair, but that one also presented problems with some of the tall plants and the tall decorations, so I opted away from that too. The little pansy is the only thing that will fit in here with the new moving flowers, but that's okay because the other flowers are huge. So as much as I wanted big stuff in here, I also wanted to make sure I had enough room to fill up the nooks around them. So yeah, I like the little Cinderella carriage with the pumpkin in it, and these new Tinkerbell fairy light things. But a lot of them take up height as well as floor space, so it makes it kind of tricky. And although it's kind of hard to see in this corner, like when I'm walking around down there, I don't really care. I like it anyway. It's close, but it gives more room for the main section of plants. So yeah, just trying to finalize all the big stuff that I could possibly stick in here. Seeing, just how full I can make it before I start building in around them. I'm so glad a lot of these flower things are also lights because now that I know that I can switch the daylight and nighttime lighting, I mess around quite a bit in this room with the lighting. And the fact that those little bell lights, the garland on the ceiling, also lights up. Wonderful. But I couldn't do too much of that stuff because, and I actually wanted to do a bunch of vines like I did in the tea room, but so much was tall and encroached on ceiling room that I actually didn't really like how it looked. So I only did like one line of bell lights and then none of the vines. Oh yeah, I thought about this carpet. It's a little much. It's really thick. But this room gave me a reason to use Isabella's chair. So that's the chair I ended up going with. And I only ended up going with the one chair because plants. I wanted all the plants. Yeah, these little beehive lights. I went with some of those. And yeah, you can see I keep going back and forth between day and night because I want to see, you know, the lighting. I wasn't too sure about adding too many non-flower, non-garden, themed lights in here. So that's part of the reason I keep checking, is to see if the lighting is sufficient, which I like it. It doesn't have to be super bright in here. This is a mood room. This is definitely not a, I'm going to come in here and do serious work sitting at a desk or anything. Oh yeah. And I almost forgot about this flower that we get from our quest with Jasmine. And so I had to do some rearranging because I definitely wanted that flower in this room. Of all the rooms, you know? It'd be great if we could make more than one of those flowers. I haven't really looked to see if I can, but it wouldn't surprise me since it was a quest item and kind of like a unique thing that we wouldn't be able to. Oh yeah, I decided to stick some water buckets in here because I thought, well, I want it to look like, you know, we actually take care of our plants. And even though it's the 7th floor, I actually toyed for a second with putting that water pump in here, but I was like, you know, we can pretend a lot and suspend disbelief a lot with the fact that this is the 7th floor and there's a brick floor and a concrete topiary thing in here. But the water pump didn't feel as, like, I don't know, like I could live with it being in here and feeling like it was... It doesn't have to be realistic. I mean, this is a pretend game. We can do whatever the heck we want. But I opted not for the water pump. And so now I went with the leaf carpets again because I thought that they went, you know, like they're... I wish we had a little bit more variety. Oh, this fungus on the wall behind the vines, the vine wall panel things, I am obsessed with. I'm so in love with that. Even though they're the same fungus... I don't know, it just, the fact that I could even do that made me so happy. And yeah, now I'm looking for all the little plants and kind of the unique stuff, but I didn't want to get too repeaty on the unique stuff, so I made sure and have, like, you know, the cloche with, what is it, the tangled flower, and then Wally's boot flower. But then, you know, I went back and started looking at, you know, kind of the medium-sized plants. Oh yeah, I thought about putting the disco ball in here. I end up not leaving it, but, you know, for a little bit I was toying with it because I thought, oh, this kind of lighting might be fun to have in here. And how many rooms am I going to stick the disco ball in? Probably not too many, so I figured I'd try it out. Oh, and I would have put a lot more of these frondy big pot, you know, leaf things in here, but they clipped through the windows, and I didn't like that either. So that was kind of unfortunate because I wish I could have put more of them in the back around because they're tall and they would have filled out kind of that mid-range layer, I guess, of plants. But it really bothered me that they clipped through the windows. So I opted not to have as many of those. But, you know, if I could, I would. Yeah, just trying to fill up every nook and cranny as much as humanly possible without... you know, not being able to walk around in here. I still wanted to be able to move around in here, but... And, oh yeah, all the flowers that could light up, including these lily pad lights. Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed with this room. I was looking forward to this room. As soon as I knew what I was going to do with the 7th floor, I have been looking forward to doing this room. Oh yeah, I really like that magnolia plant, but I didn't want some of these ones that are like really... unique or have like little animations or things like that. I didn't want to do too much of that in here. I just kind of wanted it to feel like they were just part of the unit as opposed to, this is a room all about the moving things. So, yep. Now we're doing the tiny stuff, just trying to fit tiny things everywhere. And before too much longer, I start adding in a few more things on the ceiling that I almost forgot about. I kept trying to remind myself that there were these vine flowers from Encanto, and I almost forgot. So we're almost to the end, but I like seen them like 3 or 4 times as I was scrolling through, and I was like, oh, I should put those in here. And then I almost forgot and was reminded, I don't remember what final scroll I start doing, but I was like, oh crap. So yeah. And some of these are kind of nondescript, like this little leaf, like it looks like 3 little leaves in a cup. And they made really good filler because they only take up 1 little square. Oh, I was trying to rearrange this so we could see that flower a little better, but I didn't want to go in any other shape than the position I have it in there. Oh yeah, I realized I had like this wall back, like this line in the back there that I was trying to fill up with something. And I think I eventually put like some vine flowers in there, but oh my god. Just every time I got down on the floor and started looking around, I was just like, I love it. I want more in here. Oh yeah, these little tulip lights. I love those. I love that they're just a little more touch of glow in and amongst all of the other busyness in here. So I know this is probably not everybody's cup of tea because there's lots of minimalism stuff going on in the world right now. Oh yeah, here we go, vines. I put the vines in, but I like this kind of stuff. I don't live like this because it's a lot of dusting and maintenance, but in Fantasyland, I can put as much stuff in here as I want. All right, let's go inside and check it out, shall we? We're almost done with the 7th floor. I know a full floor takes me about a month to do, but sometimes it feels like these floors go quick. Probably because I really have enjoyed the floors, or the rooms on this floor, I guess. But I'm kind of amazed that we're almost done with the 7th floor. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. I got so many plants in here. I know it's really close quarters, but like this space isn't really practical, but I'm not actually doing gardening work over here. But I love the fact that there's some little crates and some pots and some dirt. And I liked the fact that I could put the dirt bags underneath that Tinkerbell light. And I got to use that big glowing flower. Oh, I just love it so much. And just all the little surfaces in and amongst, so it had like multiple layers. Those bookshelves, I hid the books that ended up being backwards, so it just looks like there's more plants on the bookshelves and just adds, height to the looks of the room. Oh yeah, and of course I want to show it off with the nighttime lighting because all the glowing flowers that are tucked in just really add to this kind of whimsical, magical fairyland, flowerland. I don't even know. I'm just so happy that I got this many plants in here and that it ended up being this lush. I got a wide variety of plants in here. There's lots of pinks and purples, but also some yellows and some blues. I got to use a lot of the new stuff. And although I'm going to do something like this outside too, I really wanted a room like this inside the house. And I just had so much fun. It was hard getting a lot of stuff layered in and amongst each other. There's still some clipping, but because the room is so full, it doesn't detract from the layering and stuff. I mean, if you look close, you can see some clipping, but I tried to avoid a lot of that. And although there's some squares that probably could have had more things put in it, I did the best I could, and I'm so pleased. It feels so magical in here. So another room down, one more room to go, and I'll see what I can do with that one to round this floor out. That's it for today's decorating adventure. If you liked this video, a thumbs up is a great way to let me know, and a subscription will keep you up to date on my latest shenanigans. If you want to hang out with me live, I stream on YouTube and Twitch on Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are. And I'll see you next time.